gamers? Today, we've got another ladder win rate special. Look at that, October 22nd to now November, what is this, 6th. I don't know when this video is going to be out, probably on 7th or 8th. And here it is, ladder win rates. What do they mean? Nothing. Why do we watch them? Because they're entertaining. Are they going to change anything in our gameplay? No. So, overall win rates. So we're going to check first overall, then we're going to go one by one. Lowest win rate in the past 2 weeks on the new patch is Malian. I'm gonna give my opinion on why I think civs are doing bad or doing good, but obviously, like Gold League to Diamond to Conk 1 to Conk 3 to Pro level play are all different brackets, right? I think Malian probably has the lowest win rate because they received big changes, and I'm gonna just throw Ottoman in there too. They received big changes with Vizier points, with Horse Archers, and because Malian got new Furimba, so I think a lot of people are testing those things. And a lot of people that maybe are not even playing Malian or Ottoman are trying them out to try for new things. And or people that are just playing Malian and Ottoman exclusively are now trying these new builds. And every time there's massive changes, people tend to go play that civ, and then the civ win rate actually drops. But yeah, that would probably be my guess, because I think Malian is still pretty good. I don't think it's a bad civ. And I think Ottoman with this Vizier points got a little buff. I'm not going to say it's a top civ, but it did get a little buff. So yeah, HRE received a lot of nerfs. Maybe that's impacting HRE. There was a farming nerf, there was a chapel nerf, emplacement cost nerf, emplacement damage and range nerf. Maybe that's impacted it. Who the fuck knows? Abbasid, English, the Jushi, Rus, Japanese, pretty much at 50% win rate. Then we got Delhi increase. Interesting thing, look at that. Delhi with 14,000 games. Now, that is still one of the lowest, but that's a lot higher than I think what Delhi usually gets. I think Delhi historically has been one of the least played civilizations. So I think people are playing it more because now elephants are actually, they're just broken. But I think people are playing Delhi more because they want to try elephants and they want to play with elephants. So that's cool. And their win rate is doing good. French, 51%. Did French get any buffs? They got buff on water, but other than that, not much. Mongol, 51%. Byzantine, 51, almost 52. JD, 52. Ayubid, 53%, but actually lowest amount of games by far, 8,600. That is the lowest played civ by a lot. The next one is JD with 13,000? No, Malian with 11,000. So, wow, Ayubid is the least played civ. Interesting. And then we see OTD with 18,000 games at 53.4% win rate. Oh my god, that's crazy. Now, this last patch has basically nerfed a lot of the siege civs, a lot of the civs that focused on siege, one of them being at the bottom, which is Ottoman, China. HRE actually relies on siege quite a bit to defend, not to attack necessarily, but to defend. Ottoman on Mangonel's Great Bombards, China on STBs, all those things have been nerfed. Now, another thing that has been nerfed for every civ is food gathering buffs. So for basically farms. So all the civs that sit in their base and just farm got nerfed. So like English, Byzantine, HRE, and I guess Abbasid now goes early farming too. But those civs are slightly weaker because of that. Now let's look at the ranks. Do we look at bronze even? I mean, there's no one bronze watching this, let's be honest. Gold League, Ayubid with the highest win rate. Now, OTD, we got Byzantine, we got JD. Now, one interesting thing that someone brought up earlier is biology actually got buffed another 10%. So maybe more people are inclined to go for knights. Infantry also received massive nerfs. So any civilization that relied heavy on infantry, which is English, HRE, also China, also Malian, Jushi as well, all those, and Japanese, all those civs rely on infantry heavily. Elite army tactics got nerfed. Maybe that's where they're doing worse. At least that's my opinion. And then all the civs that rely heavy on cavalry are a lot more up. Although Byzantine, we'll talk about Byzantine specifically. But, you know, French, JD, Rus, obviously they have a lot of cavalry. Keshiks from Mongol, Ghazi Raiders and Elephants. All those are up. Ayubit has the least amount of games, which kind of makes me believe that people just don't know really how to play against it. And that's probably why it has high win rate, because players don't meet it as often. We've seen this before when a civ was like so little played that when people play it, it's mostly like one-trick ponies that only play that civ, and enemies just probably don't have a lot of experience playing against it. Now OTD, I actually mentioned this, and the real OGs will remember, although it's only a year ago. But I actually said OTD at the start of the release of the civ. I said OTD will most likely be very bad at the top level and very good at lower levels. And that's been true for the past year. So high five to myself. Because OTD is a lot easier to play for a lot of lower league players because there's not much to do. There's not as many units, and the units are very strong. So if you take a bad engagement, the units will actually just mow you down. Whereas at high level, because they have so few units, they're very easy to manipulate. And when the Civ came out, this is what I predicted, and this is kind of what's been happening for the past year. I think OTD has had one of the highest win rates in like Diamond and lower forever now, right? Now let's go to the next one. Platinum is same as Diamond. Platinum is same as Gold. Diamond is same as Platinum. You know, it's all intertwined. Diamond 55% win rate for OTD. Again, Ayubid with very, very few games. French, Mongol, Delhi, Japanese. China is now on the rise, and at the bottom we see Malian, HRE, Ottoman, English. I mean, 49% is fine, I think. And we see Byzantine dropping off. Conquer. Now, Conquer is Conquer from 1,400 to basically 2,300 rating, or 2,200. I don't know what's the top rating now. Which is, and I need people to understand this. I say it every time, but the difference between 1,400 player and 2,200 player is like a Conquer one player playing against Gold. Like, you guys gotta understand that. It's the skill difference is crazy big. It's crazy big. I know a lot of people see like, oh, but you're both Conquer. It's nowhere close, okay? Cascade says always show this. Yeah, like here you go. Okay, let's just look at this. So this is 2,100 rating right here. Oh, hold on, I'm trying to make this work for you guys. This is 2,100 rating. And then here is Conquer 1, okay? So this is the difference. It's the same difference from like Conquer 1 to fucking whatever this is. I don't know what this is. Gold? Platinum? I don't know what rating this is. Like, I know these are just numbers, and you'll say, oh, but there's a oh yeah, this is gold. I can see it here. You can say like, oh, but it's just numbers or whatever. It's trust me, difference from here to here might be even bigger than from here to here. Okay, just putting that out there. The reason I'm saying this is because when you see Conqueror stats, it's like, imagine if you put bronze and you see from bronze to Conquer 1. That's kind of what we're talking about here. OTD has 56% win rate, which is funny because top players consider OTD one of the worst civs to play right now. Now, again, I've said this before. I can see OTD going up a little bit just because they're better in Imperial now than they used to be, but I cannot see them getting to like even B tier Civ. So who knows? I might be wrong. Yeah, I generally don't know who is losing out there against OTD. I mean, I did contribute 8 games in the past 24 hours, 8 wins to OTD. But other than that, I don't know who's out there getting smashed by OTD. JD, 55.7% win rate. I think this is probably people getting like farmed in like low conk or conquer players farming diamond players. I'm not really sure. 56% win rate. JD is okay. JD and French are a lot better than they used to be the last patch, but 56% win rate is crazy for them. Ayubid is still played at high level, so I wouldn't say that they're like a top 3 Civ, but they're a pretty good Civ. Delhi having this win rate and Byzantine has this win rate makes perfect sense to me, because if I look at like what the Civ is like at the top level, that's fine. Then we have Ottoman, and then all the other Civs are just in deep red, and Malian actually even sinking lower to 42% win rate. I personally think this has to do with people just trying Farimba quite a bit. I wouldn't say Malian is like a top 5 Civ right now, but it's definitely not the worst Civ. Is all I'm gonna say. A3 is at 48%, so I guess the nerfs. A3 got nerfed quite a bit, to be fair. Elite RB Tactics got nerfed, and Chapel and Towers, so I think it's going to take a little bit of time for people to readjust with HRE to learn how to play with ranged units, because most of the HRE playstyles were mass infantry or infantry cavalry, so now you kind of have to use crossbows and stuff. Now let's look at Conqueror 4 and above. Conqueror 4, for those that don't know, is 1,000, is it 700 plus? I think it's 1,700 plus, which is not massively different, right, from 1.6, but it kind of excludes like low Conqueror 3s, Conqueror 2s, and Conqueror 1s. And here you're gonna see not many games. I'm kind of curious what this is gonna look like in like a month when we have more games, because you can see you only have 54 games, 51 games, which is not really a lot. Like JD has played 1 match or 1 map against Jushi. Like that's how few games we're looking at. JD won against HRE 3 times, which HRE is actually good against JD. So can I see who lost those 3 games just to call them out? Call them out a little bit. Byzantine's doing well. China is doing well. Ayubid with 66%, which I'm surprised. I know this is very low sample size in 70 games, but I'm actually very surprised that Ayubid is that high. That's pretty cool. I'm wondering what Civs it does well. It's doing well versus Delhi. Apparently, HRE is just getting dumpstered by a lot of Civs. Look at that. Everyone's having like top 4 Civs are having very high win rate against HRE. 6-0. What is this? 8-1. And this is 3-0. Just kind of interesting. Abbasid, French, all in the green. And then at the bottom, we have English with 38%. Now, let me give you a perspective. So this is 1,700 plus. So if you look at this graph, 1,700 is here, and this is like pro level, right? So there's still quite a bit of a difference in there. At the top level, at least in my opinion, the top Civs right now in the game are, in no specific order, Abbasid, HRE, English, Delhi, Byzantine. I would put those 5 Civs as top 5 Civs. But if you look at the win rates, Ayubid and Byzantine are at the top. Then you have Delhi, which is almost near the middle. Abbasid dead in the middle. And then HRE and English are at the bottom. Which is why I think it's really fun to look at these win rates. But what do they tell us, right? Looking at this, you would probably want to nerf Ayubid, right? Which, I don't know about that. Ayubid at the pro level is actually slowly switching to a hybrid Civ, where players are not actually picking it too much on land maps. They're kind of saving it for hybrid maps where you can go for super early docks and then fast age up and stuff like that. But yeah, it is low sample size, but I'm just kind of explaining that, you know, ladder win rates can be fun to look at, but they don't mean like the end of it, right? Sometimes the map pool can also affect the win rates quite a bit. I don't know if you guys remember the season where Rus had like some crazy win rate. They had like 65% win rate, I think. The reason for that is like 70% of the maps that Rus won on was like hideout. And that was pretty telling, right? So I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but kind of makes sense. Also, Byzantine having higher win rate and he has a lot of games played. It actually is the most played civilization in Conquer 4 and above, because people have been doing the I don't know whose build it is. I'm just gonna call it Jigglyturd build because that's the guy that's I've seen the first time doing it, which is the fast castle cataphract spam, and a lot of people have been trying that build, so you can see so many games are being played. So that's it. What does that mean? Let's look at silver and under. That's where the real juice is at. I'm checking for you guys right now to see where you guys are at. Okay, OTD OP, IUBIT OP, okay, JD OP, Japanese OP, Jushi OP, okay, Delhi's broken, unbeatable, Rus is broken as hell, French, I mean, imbalanced as hell, Mongol, broken as fuck, Byzantine, 50.3%, English, 52.2%, that's it, I'm gonna make a Reddit thread right now, Ottoman, 48.9%, that's too high, broken, Abbasid, 48% broken, 47.8%, that's unbeatable, 45.7%, like hello, are we gonna get some nerfs? And this is Civ Uplay, which clearly needs buffs. Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, those are the win rates for now. I suspect OTD probably remaining I'm gonna be honest, like I don't see OTD win rates going down because they're just good at lower league. That's it. IUBIT, I'm assuming is because not many people play it, so it has high win rate. I think JD and Mongol are very good ladder civs. Mongol has always been a really good ladder civ because you don't meet Mongol super high amount, like you meet a decent amount, but when you do meet it, Mongol puts you in like uncomfortable positions with like tower rushing and trading and stuff like that, and a lot of people are not really comfortable to playing against something that's out there, so I think they kind of fumble. And against Mongol you can kind of snowball and lose pretty quickly. So there it is. Warning, some specific matchups are low sample size. Keep that in mind when discussing these statistics. No one's gonna do that. Everyone's gonna take these and ask for nerfs on OTD right now. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. We'll check again in like a month or so, see where we're at. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch, I'll put a little right now. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.